All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Xuesong Shen. I'm an associate professor from the University of New South Wales in Sydney, Australia. So today I will be presenting this part of the work from one of my PhD students with my colleague, Dr. Barati, and the student name is Mikael Gilbert. So this is sort of like a little bit early stage of the research for Miko, and I'll try my best to present on his behalf. So the topic here is about the feasibility of reusing prefabricated panels from embodied energy and also economics perspective. So a little bit background here. So here, if we try to cover, the principles of the sustainable construction, we also try to look at the different types of the areas, including the resource management, life cycle design, and also human design. So, for example, for the resources management, we are focusing on the efficient use of the raw materials during the construction. And as a reason, also for the life cycle, so pretty much we try to cover all aspects from the building life cycle, including design, construction, operations, and demolition. So for human design, I think it's a little bit more, even exceeding the needs of the surrounding buildings. Okay, so here also Miko prepared one example. So I think that's one of the early stage pilot projects in Germany. So pretty much they try to develop a pilot house from the prefabricated panels from like old Soviet era apartment buildings, as you can see from the images here. And then here's like a overview about the research methodology for this study. So generally, so we try to follow a life cycle assessment, okay, for the measurement of the benefits. And then also we have used two examples to validate or also try to further study the findings, including the prefabricated concrete panels. And also some timber panels. It's cross laminated timber panels. And so we try to provide a generic framework. And then in the future, we can try to analyze the embodied energy and also the cost associated with reusing the materials and also the transportation cost. So for the methodology, as you can see from the right-hand side, there are 5 different phases, including the life cycle analysis to start with. So that's pretty much about the preparation of the parameters of the input, the calculation of the embodied energy, and also the workflow plus the net energy analysis. And then the second one, we also try to look at the transportation cost. And then the third stage, is about the energy sustainability study. So in this case, we try to consider both, the transport energy use, and also try to do some comparisons here. The phase 4 is more about the cost benefits analysis. And then finally, we also try to apply this methods into one specific case study that's about the like apartment building in Sydney, Australia. All right, so in this case, when we started at the look at the life cycle analysis, as I mentioned before, we look at the 2 different types of the materials, including the concrete panels and also the cross-laminated timber panels. So as you can see here, if we consider 1 cubic meter of the materials, and then here we also try to provide some baseline about the energy saving if you're going to use like reuse those prefabricated materials. Say for the concrete panels, we can save around 37.7 gigajoule per cubic meter of the energy if we try to reuse 1 cubic meter of those panels. But then after we consider the energy for transportation, so that would be reduced to 36.6 gigajoule. And then quite differently, if you look at the cross-laminated timber, and then apparently we have much less sort of like energy saving. So in this case, it's only about 5 gigajoules per cubic meter. And then after we considering the processing and the transportation transport stage, and that will be slightly reduced to 4.6 gigajoules per cubic meter. All right, and then we try to further look at the cost and also the energy savings. So in this case, Mikael has looked into quite a few different locations, including different continents. All right. So in this case, we look at the different locations across Asia, Oceania, North America, and also the Europe. So as a result, say if we try to source the raw materials, try to reuse those prefabricated panels from different part of the world, and then we would be looking at 3 different types of the transport methods, including ship, trucks, and rails. So because Australia is such a like a independent continent, pretty much, and so if we try to source the material outside of Australia, and then pretty much we have to rely on the ocean, transportation. And then also within the Australia, say from Perth to Sydney, that's similar to the distance from Vancouver to Montreal. And then also we will rely on the railway for transport. But if we try to source the material from local area, and then we can definitely use trucks. So here, just give you a brief update about the results. And as you can see here, we can look at the different types of the embodied energy savings. Say for the concrete, as I mentioned before, it's about 37.7 gigajoule per cubic meter. And then for the timber panels, it's about 5 gigajoules. And then based on those the life cycle analysis, and also we come up with some results. So as you can see here, pretty much this is about the modeling between the travel distance, energy saving, and the cost. All right, and then here are a bit further, results. So in this case, pretty much if we try to look at the embodied energy sustainability study, and then we try to look at the energy saving and then cost saving, and then finally we try to predict the maximum distance if we try to have a good balance. And then here are some results. Say if you look at the cost of the concrete panels, and then once we increase the cost of sourcing the raw material, and then pretty much you are going to reduce the limit for the maximum distance. And then on the other hand, for the timber panels, it has quite different pattern. All right, I'll just skip quickly to the case study. So in this one, we used like a 5-story buildings in Sydney. So for the external walls, that's pretty much about the reused concrete panels, and then internal walls is about reused timber panels. So as a result, we could look at the 2 different scenarios. So say if we try to source a material from a local area in Sydney, only about 120 kilometers, versus another case about the material source from Europe. And then apparently you're talking about a trade-off between the travel cost, the cost of the transportation, and also the environmental sustainability results. Okay. All right. So just try to quickly summarize this preliminary stage of the study. So in this case, people are talking about the sustainability, carbon reduction. But if we specifically look at the demolition stage, which is way behind of the other parts of the construction, if you look at the big picture of the life cycle, And also, if we try to reuse the prefabricated materials, and then in this case, we have to look at both the benefits for carbon and also the energy and cost savings. And then in the future research, Mikael is also trying to look at the scope of the work and then try to cover more areas in social and life cycle aspects. All right, so here's some key references in this paper, and thank you very much for your time.